I found that there's kind of three ways that you can structure your class. The first would be by unit, right? Which is what I've always done in the past. So my example here, I've done by unit. I was a language arts teacher, so I think that influences it sometimes as well. I found if you teach the humanities, oftentimes units make a little bit more sense because students, we want to encourage them to go back to some of those resources, and keeping them nested in one folder can be really helpful for that. However, I've had communication with some of our like CTE teachers that they're like, we go back to all of these skills and standards through all of these units. So you may decide instead that you want to organize something by standard or by skill. So if you're like a CTE, a STEM teacher, and you know that your students are consistently spiraling back to certain skills, you may find it more advantageous to set your course or your folders in your course up based on a specific skill. And then the third option, which I think is really only ever appropriate for some of my like elementary school colleagues that I've worked with, is doing things by dates. Because it's easy for younger kids or sometimes language learners. This can be a good tool too, knowing everything that I'm doing for this day is in this one folder. But at a secondary level, I would really caution against using dates, because then your page can get really, really long over time.
Yeah, and I think one of the ways we've seen schools combat that a little bit is they'll have just the current folder that students need by date at the top, right? And then they'll file those away as they go, which is another strategy for that issue. So yeah, lots of different ways to do it. Would you say that that's fair?
Yeah, the sky's the limit, I think. However, I try to think of everything in like a translation in my classroom, right? Like if you're creating a file cabinet to organize your materials for this year, how do you put things in your file cabinet? And for me, I put things in my file cabinet based on my units. So it makes sense for me to organize my Schoology page that way. I mean, ultimately, it's the way you're communicating it to students. So if you can communicate where to find something clearly and concisely, students will figure it out too.